Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark, and we are broadcasting here from Seattle. And a yogi musician named Abhishek will also be joining me this evening. And we used to do programs here in Seattle, Abhishek and myself, and before the pandemic. So it's nice to be together again and be with you all here this evening. And so tonight's program is about the meaning of Om. And I'm sure that you've already been introduced to some aspects of Om. We're going to listen to a talk by Shri Mataji, short talk. And we're also going to look at an animation of the carbon atom, of all things, and figure out how that fits into Om. And so let's go ahead and start the program tonight by raising our Kundalini and doing the Bandhan. So as y'all know, by raising the Kundalini, we're raising the Kundalini to the top of our head. We're bringing up this energy, then we're spreading that energy around us. So now let's take some of that energy and let's give it to our foot soak bucket. So we can go in a clockwise direction around the foot soak water 7 times or so. And we can put our feet into the water. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start by just taking a few deep breaths to kind of settle down a little bit. So let's close our eyes and we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth and take a short pause at each one. So breathe in through our nose, short pause and out. So in tonight's meditation, we're going to be saying some of the short mantras, and they all begin with Om. Om is a very important, it's one of the primordial sounds, one of the first sounds that was made in the universe. And what I'd like to do is just a little exercise. Well, actually, before I get started, I wanted to share a little story with you also. The first year I was practicing Sahaja Yoga, like many of you are in this period as well, I was feeling my Kundalini and the vibrations and whatnot. And I remember after 6 or 7 months, it was like springtime here in the Northwest when pollen is out all over the place. And I used to suffer miserably from hay fever allergies. And nothing was working. I thought, oh, maybe now that I'm meditating, it'll be okay. I kind of did this sort of half-hearted treatment, using the earth as a technique to clear the allergy, but nothing was working. And so one morning I woke up and I was just like really, really wanted to be done with this. And I really reached down into my well of desire and just really to do this. And I really did this treatment with the earth, putting hands on the earth and some other technique, and coupling that with the fire element as well. But the difference this time was I really did it with full attention and full desire. And after, a few minutes of this, my allergies cleared out. And I tried sort of some half-hearted attempts before, and I found that it was really, the difference was the desire and the attention putting into the treatment. So I just like to encourage you that while we're doing these things, to really use that desire, because the Mother Kundalini is pure desire, and she responds to our desire. And, it's our birthright to have our self-realization. And we shouldn't be shy about appealing to her to really, clear out this chakra. Please, we can ask her to do the work, and we can direct our attention at certain areas to do that work. So I just want to share that experience with you, and as we do this, is try and keep this in mind, to really reach down into that well of desire that we have, and have it work for us. So one thing that I want to start with is Om is comprised of 3 sounds: A, U, and Ma, and they correspond to the left, the right, and the center channel, respectively. And the pronunciation, we sort of like blend them together. So the sound A, U, and Ma. So the A and the U, we can say Aum, like this. So we sort of bring it together into one sound. And then at the end, when we're doing the we can just gently open our mouth at the end to release that energy that's built up. So let's go ahead and do, we're going to say the Om mantra 3 times. We kind of get the hang of it. So now we're going to try a little experiment. We're going to take our right hand, and we're going to put the center of our palm right over the center crown of our head, and we're just going to lay it very gently on top of our head. We're not going to press down too hard, but just very gently. And now we're going to say the Om mantra again, and we get to the last sound, the M sound. We should start feeling a little bit of vibration beneath our hand. So let's go ahead and try that a few times. So hopefully you can feel that that's really the Om is actually, when it comes up to Sahasrara, it actually starts to vibrate at the point of the top of our head there. So okay, so we're foot soaking now with the water and the earth elements, and the temperature of the water adjusted for our left or right channel. And so we're going to kind of allow that to sort of do its work, and we're going to start with our heart chakra, and we're going to work on it. There's a nadi, or a channel, that goes from our heart to our brain, and if we can get that connection going between our heart and our brain, it really enlightens our attention and is often referred to as emotional intelligence, right? That the thoughts and the actions that we have when our heart, which is pure love and the essence of our being, is connected into our brain, that hopefully the words and our thoughts and our actions reflect that, not just on the intellectual level, but from the heart, with compassion as well. So let's go ahead and we'll place our right hand on our left heart. And since air is the element associated with the heart, let's go ahead and take a few more deep breaths. We can also, in addition to doing the hand placement, which helps us focus our attention on the chakra that we're working on, we can also do a clockwise rotation. As the Kundalini moves through the chakra, it starts to spin in a clockwise direction. So we can also use this motion. So we're going to say some affirmations, and then we're going to have some silent meditation afterwards. And when we're in that silent meditation, we can try and maybe see which technique maybe works better. Placing a hand on the heart, we can try doing the bandhan, as it's called, as we move around the heart. And at any point we feel like we're losing our attention, I find that one of the best ways to, sort of reclaim my attention, if you will, is to just slowly raise the Kundalini to the top of the head. And just do this a couple of times. And I find a lot of times that refocus my attention. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Place our right hand on the left heart. And here, with our full desire, we're going to ask Mother Kundalini, please come into my heart. Mother Kundalini, please let me feel your presence in my heart. Please awaken my spirit consciousness. Mother Kundalini, please come into my heart. Let me feel your presence in my heart. So as Mother Kundalini is the primordial causal aspect of our being, she established our channels, the central nervous system, the left and right channel, the center channel, all of our chakras. Our soul, which reflects the spirit, rays of the spirit, rays of the primordial spirit, if you will, and causes our heart to beat, which gives us life. We can acknowledge that I am the spirit. This is sort of the pinnacle of our being, the top of the pyramid, if you will. We have a mind and a brain and emotions and rationality and all this, but when we put the spirit consciousness at the top of that pyramid, and it takes control, and we have our attention in the present moment, all we're left with is the awareness of our spirit and nothing else. So let's say the affirmation, I am the spirit. I am the spirit. This is my true self. We can rest our hand down on our lap for a while. So let's just meditate on that. I am the Spirit. We can slowly open our eyes if we have them closed. And there's another chakra that's between the heart and the Vishuddhi or throat chakra. It's right up on the upper part of our chest. It's called the Shri Lalita chakra. And so it's in that nadi that travels up from the heart. And we can place our right hand on the upper part of our chest. And we're going to say the short mantra, Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lalita Chakra Swamini. Swamini roughly translates as the one that protects. So, Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lalita Chakra Swamini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lalita Chakra Swamini Namo Namaha. Again. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lalita Chakra Swamini Namo Namaha. One more time. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Lalita Chakra Swamini Namo Namaha. And we're going to meditate on this chakra for a while. We can leave our hand in place, or if we feel like we need to rest our hand, we can place it on our lap. But let's try and keep our attention at that location. We can open our eyes again. And let's place our right hand up on the left Vishuddhi chakra, right where the neck and the shoulder meet together. And here, this is a very common center, this left Vishuddhi as it's called in Sanskrit, for constriction, especially amongst Americans. I know Shri Mataji commented that when she would come to America, she could really feel on the collective level this constriction. I also, when I first started, I had two that were pretty well constricted, and this was one of them. So let's go ahead and say the affirmations for this. We're going to say, I am not guilty. I face my mistakes. I am not guilty. I respect myself. As long as we face ourselves, we're not blaming others, and just face our mistakes and move on. I respect myself. Okay, let's open our eyes again. And we're going to move to this Agya chakra. This one can be a really tough one. I know because the thoughts are always going to come when we meditate for most of us, and we're just trying to expand that space between the thoughts. And I know if the thought trains are just too active, I can feel the vibrations kind of sticking at this chakra, almost like wearing a hat that's too small for me or something. And so we're gonna work on this one. There's a couple techniques that I'm sure you all aware of placing our hand on our head and saying the affirmation, I forgive. Another technique that I works well for me is to take the ring finger that's associated with the Agya and kind of massage that Agya chakra right in the middle. So this is another technique. And again, experiment. See which technique works best for you. Then there's also on the back of our head, there's the back Agya, as it's called. And this one, we can just ask the divine, please forgive all the mistakes I've made against my spirit. please forgive all the mistakes I've made against my spirit. So the other one that can work really well for this Agya chakra is sometimes we get pressure from our ego and our superego. And I was working with a new person on a one-to-one Zoom call just last week who said he had had like a headache all day, and we did this next technique, and it said it totally cleared up his headache, and it takes the pressure off the optic chiasma, which is between the ego and superego. So we can take our right hand above our right ear and our left hand above the left ear, and we can press in a little bit. And we're going to say a bija mantra. So we're going to say Om, Ham, which means I am, and Sham, which means forgive. And that's going to help reduce the swelling of our ego and superego. So we're going to say this a few times. Om Ham Sham Om Ham Sham Om Ham Sham. So now we're going to go back up to Sahasrara. And again, we're just going to gently rest our right hand on top of the Sahasrara. So the Sahasrara of our hand to the Sahasrara of the top of our head. And we're just going to say Om a few times. We can put our hands down on our lap. And now let's just close our eyes and keep the tension at the top of our head. Maybe to start, let's make sure that we have our good attention and move the Kundalini energy through our chakras up to the top of our head. Very slowly so it captures our attention. So we can just close our eyes, bring our attention inwards with our attention at the top or just above the top of our head. And we can just ask Mother Kundalini, thank you for my self-realization. Thank you for awakening in me. Please put me into the state of meditation. Okay, we can open our eyes now. And we can check, we can check and see if we can feel any cool breeze or warmth. Warmth is okay, it means the Kundalini is making it up. It's just clearing out some constrictions in our subtle system. You can try with the other hand. And see. Okay, so we can go ahead and we can rinse our feet and set our foot soak bucket to the side and then raise our Kundalini afterwards. And then we'll watch the video and the carbon atom animation after that. So let's take a quick break here.
I would like to tell you about the great word called Om, what it is, what it represents, and how it came into being. In the beginning, I have to tell you that whatever I am telling you is a hypothesis for you. You should not accept me as the last word, but as a scientific mind. Look at everything with open-mindedness. You should keep yourself open. See for yourself what I am telling you. And then later on, if it can be proved, then you have to accept it as a law or the divine law. Om is a word people don't understand because it is at the very beginning of this creation that the energy of God, energy of His love, separated from His identity. He pushed her, call it as lasya. He pushed her to create. And he became the spectator and she had to create. At that time when she was pushed, we don't have here something to show you how it worked. But when he tried to push her, her movements went into a kind of a word which is written as like this, 3, A, U and Ma. So there are 3 words in it. At the time of that pushing, when the separation took place, there was a sound. This is the first sound, and that sound is called as Om. So many people call it as Logos, but to understand it, you have to go deeper into it and what it was. So her power got divided into 3, A, U and Ma. And that's how she became Om. So Om is the sound which is emitted when she creates, which acts as the basis of the essence of her love. Then, how she started creating is a very long story which I won't be able to tell you today. But this Om is the one that she first used to create the innocence on this earth. So, this Om was the innocence with which she filled the whole universe. So, Om is nothing but is the innocence that you see in children, in so many people, in saints, and in most of the incarnations, that they are empowered by their innocence. And this innocence first filled the whole space. Even before creating the space, innocence was there. That was the first creation of element, and that was the innocence. So Om is innocence which does all the living work on this earth. For example, we see these flowers become fruits. We take them for granted. We don't understand that there must be some great mechanism to make the flowers a fruit. We take everything for granted. For example, we take ourselves for granted. We have come from amoeba stage to this stage, and we take ourselves for granted. We don't know how we have become this. We have to know that we have become this because there must be some purpose behind it. And because we do not know the purpose, that's why we are confused. Now, this U, and Ma are three powers. The first power, as we call it in Sahaja Yoga language, in a personified way, is of creation power. You can say the power. Is the first power is of the desire power, by which God desired. We call it as the Mahakali, which resides on the left side of the primordial being, which resides within us on the left-hand side, which is manifesting outside the left sympathetic nervous system, which looks after, caters after our past, which caters after our emotions. Just now somebody told me that in the West it is not regarded very good to express your emotions, which is a wrong thing. You should not suppress your emotions. Emotions are very important because they give the balance to personality.
Yes. So what's interesting, Shri Mataji also said in another talk that this meaning of Om, she talks about how it was created, the primordial mother and the primordial father, and she actually, I'd seen a diagram where she showed it was a series of parabolas that were taking shape and interacting that kind of caused this big bang, if you will. And this Om was what the astrophysicists call as the Big Bang, if you will. And what's interesting is they have this new Webb telescope that says that they can look back further and further into time. Some of the first light that was created in the universe, which is kind of mind-boggling, but it's interesting how scientists talk about Big Bang. Shri Mataji says it's the Om, and you wonder how do these things kind of get reconciled. And it's interesting. I was reading a quote also about some astrophysicists was saying when he looks out into the cosmos, he feels like he's looking at the face of God. And, to hear those words from a scientist is really, and I don't know if you've ever seen any of these photographs that I've taken from the Webb telescope, but it's really kind of amazing to see these creative forces in play, just at a scale we just can't even imagine. But getting back down to a scale that we can imagine, Shri Mataji had said in another talk, she says she got into meditation on the carbon atom, and from the top-down view, you could see the Omkar. I can't remember there's a top-down view, a bottom-up view, and then a side view, and I can't remember which is from which view, but it's the Omkara, the swastika, and the alpha and the omega. And so the Omkara represents the Big Bang, and she was saying that how one of those first powers is like innocence. And the swastika is something that, in modern times, it's been associated with some negative things like, the Nazis and white supremacists and things like this. But going back millennia, the Omkara, the swastika, they are auspicious symbols. And in particular, the swastika is a symbol of innocence and purity, which is totally against some of the negative modern forces have tried to distort it and, put it backwards and like this. So anyway, just some of you may not be familiar with some of these symbols, and then the alpha and the omega representing the beginning and the end. So anyway, Shri Mataji had given this clue, and one of the yogis that's also a physicist, he constructed computer animation of the electron path of the carbon atom. And so Abhishek is putting this up right now. This is Abhishek to my left here. So he's going to put up the animation showing the three views of the carbon atom. Okay, you want to start that from the beginning? There we go. Okay, so this is the carbon atom. And now we're going to look at the path. So, okay, so here's the first one. The symbol that looks kind of like a 3, that's the A, representing the left channel. And then the one to the right, the U, is representing the right channel. And then the one at the top is the M, representing the present, and which is our path of evolution. Okay, so we can advance to the next one. Okay, so we're going to advance the model to another view. And from this view, we get the swastika. And so it's kind of interesting how, the carbon atom being this building block of life contains these, historic, ancient reference symbols that were generated quite some time ago. Okay, we can advance to the next. So in this view, we see the alpha and the omega. So the omega is the one on the bottom, and then the alpha is kind of like upside down, if you will. So there's the alpha and the omega, just as Shri Mataji had predicted. So just to summarize, there's a lot of Eastern mysticism and Western science that really, for me, I'm a little bit of a technical nerd, but I've always trusted my intuition as well. It's really interesting to see how East meets West, and that, they're just kind of being expressed in different ways. And I think as time advances, I think we're going to find that science is going to, verify a lot of the things that we as Saj Yogis know by courtesy of Shri Mataji and the knowledge she shared with us. So with that, we're going to escape from sort of the, the mental part of this. And Abhishek is going to lead us using the Om in a musical way, perhaps some bija mantras or raga riffs. I'm not sure what he has in mind. We'll just sit back and enjoy. It's always a pleasure for me to meditate with Abhishek's music. So.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So let me just get set up here really quick. Okay, so to start things off, we will once again put our hands towards the ground or on the ground, if you're sitting on the ground. And so this first energy center, it has 4 petals, just like the carbon atom has a valency of 4. And the carbon atom is the basis of all organic life. And similarly, this first energy center is the basis of our subtle system. It supports the Kundalini energy, and it's really the basis, the foundation of spirituality, you can say. So here, very sincerely, we will ask for a strong foundation of innocence within us. And to awaken this quality of innocence, to awaken all the other qualities also of this first energy center, we can all say we can say Om Gam Gam Gam. Gam, G-A-M, Gam, and then the M is the nasal part, just like in Om. Om Gam Gam Gam. Om Gam Gam Gam. Om Gam Gam Gam. Om Gam Gam Gam. Gam Gam Gam. Gam Gam Gam. Gam Gam Gam. Gam Ganapataye Namah. Gam Ganapataye Namah. सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्ननाशो गणाधिपः धूम्रकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षो भालचन्द्रो गजानना गणपतविघ्न हरन् गणपतविघ्न हरन् गणपतविघ्न हरन् चरणों में तेरे कोटि प्रणाम शिवनंदन गौरी सुता चरणों में तेरे कोटि प्रणाम So a strong foundation and a strong Muladhara chakra, it helps remove a lot of the obstacles in our meditation. And so now we can bring our hand in front of our Kundalini and we can ask inside, let all the obstacles in the awakening of my Kundalini be removed. And with a sincere desire, we will start raising our hand up to help the Kundalini rise even stronger. So we'll do this a couple of times. And now we'll put our hand across our forehead. And this is the Agya chakra, which is actually related to the first energy center. And this sixth energy center on our forehead also has the quality of innocence. It gives innocence to our eyes. It gives innocence to our mind. So it gives us the innocence on a subtle level such that no impurity can enter into our beings. So here we can ask, please allow me to stay in the state of thoughtless awareness longer so that true innocence can be established within me. Omkara Namo Namaha. Omkara Namo Namaha. Radha Nandana Radha Nandana Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. Radhanandan Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. Radhanandan Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. 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 Radhanandan Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. Ture avasi nirvichara Ture asthiti pradayaka Ture avasi nirvichara 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 Ture avasi nirvichara Ture asthiti pradayaka Sahasrara dwarvasi Samasta sakshi gunatita Mahatmanasa mahatahankara Shuddha Shweta Shashwata Radhanandan Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. Radhanandan Krishna Sutta Omkara Namo Namaha. Omkara Namo Namaha. Omkara Namo Namo Namaha. So now we can place our hand on top of our head, massage the top of our head. And once again, addressing our Kundalini energy and asking for our attention to rise above the top of our head. it's truly amazing how much just a simple, sincere ask can do. The Kundalini energy is extremely powerful, and it knows everything about our subtle system, and it knows how to make its way to the top of our head, and all it's waiting for is just a simple ask, a sincere ask. So let's try that out with a renewed sense of desire. Akula Bhavani Mata Nirmala Nitya Nirlepa Mata Nirmala Akula Bhavani Mata Nirmala Nitya Nirlepa Mata Nirmala Vishnu Granthi Vibhedini Deva Karya Samudyata Vishwagrasa Parashakti Pavanakruti Chandranibha Pushti Ravi Prakhya Chit Shakti Vimala Vilasini Varada Vijaya Vandaru Jana Vatsala Sahaj Yogdaini Mata Nirmala Mata Nirmala Shri Mata Nirmala Mata Nirmala Shri Mata Nirmala Mata Nirmala Shri Mata Nirmala. So we can now conclude this part of the meditation by raising our energies once again and giving ourselves a bandhan.
So, thank you all for joining us. It's really a pleasure for us, and it never ceases to amaze me how meeting virtually like this, our Kundalinis still meet in the collective consciousness, and we feel such great vibrations from doing this. And so, thank you again. And now we're going to close with some of the announcements that are coming up. So we do have foot soak meditations on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And this coming Sunday, there's a program, The Joy of the Spirit. It's day 100. So keeping our attention on our spirit is the topic. And then again, we have the collective foot soaks, as mentioned, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the other programs on Sundays and Thursdays. And so we'll have that. And then, so now we're going to have some silent meditation with music. Those of you that would like to meet one-on-one with an experienced Sahaja Yogi, you can just write that in the chat, in your chat, that you'd like to work with somebody, and feel free to stick around for some more silent meditation with music if you'd like. Okay, thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.